Once again, welcome to the GMAP Broadcast Network, and of course, T. Marie, how you doing this afternoon, young lady?
I'm doing wonderful. How can you not do wonderful after that kind of
Oh
energy? That
yeah!
kind of introduction. I love your
Oh my good.
energy. And
Hey,
I am so grateful to God as well to
amen,
be here.
amen.
So grateful that He brought me through to finish the book.
Yes.
It has been a long time coming.
Uh huh.
And I think it is just a small contribution to what we are all trying to do, and that is evolve
Yeah.
and become better.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that I am so blessed to have been able to see it through and finally get it published. Thank you, Kindle Direct Publishing. They were awesome in helping me because I had no idea
Mm.
how to be a published author, and they were there every step of the way. It was just an amazing journey.
Amen.
So yes, I am doing wonderful, and I'm glad to be here. Thank you so much for
Ooh.
having me.
And it is our pleasure. Thank you so much for simply taking time out to be here with us on today. And of course, I have to do it right because if I don't do it right, you'll be sending those guys after me, and I don't need that. So, with that being said, I want you to simply just step up to the plate. I want you to basically introduce yourself. Tell us who you are. Tell us where you're from. Who is T. Marie J?
I am Tina Marie Johnson, born and raised in San Francisco, California, in the actual city of at Mount Zion Hospital on Visadero Street for those who really have an understanding of what it means to be directly from the city and county of San Francisco, California.
Right.
Um, I'm well traveled. I left California in 2008 and I've lived in Louisiana. Shout out to New Orleans and Baton Rouge. And then I moved to Houston, Texas. And then I moved to Mississippi, where I currently am. I lived in several places. And so I've raised two boys. I have been married. And in my journey, I have had to do a lot of growth because of the trauma, damage, woundedness, just being hurt throughout different stages of my life in different ways, no more than anybody else, no less than anybody else, but have just been my own personal journey
Yeah.
of trying to heal and grow. And in doing that, I fought to just be a better person because of some of it and how it impacted my children.
Right.
So during that journey, I had come in contact with other um, men as well as women, but my focus is, of course, the Black woman's journey, and any other woman. I'm not excluding my other counterpart sisters. I'm just well versed in being a Black woman.
I know
And
that's
so,
right. And I'm excited for you simply for a couple of reasons. Number
mhm.
one, I thank God for you simply accepting the invitation to be a part of our broadcast network family. Thank you so much for that. And of course, for being here with us on today, just sharing a little bit about who you are and what you have going on. And of course, we are focused on today on Beautiful Soldier. I want you to break that down for me because a lot of people are very interested. We have some great viewers and listeners around the world, and compliments to our partners here on today, the Roku Network, as well as Amazon Fire TV, broadcasting this conversation live as well. I want you to break that down for me if you don't mind. Tell us a little bit about Beautiful Soldier.
Beautiful soldier is me. I came through a lot of devastation in order to evolve, and I know I got off track. I went from myself to the book, but they're pretty much one and the same. And I triumphed. I failed miserably educationally, and I had my two boys, and I went on to gain 4 degrees. I have four
Mm,
degrees,
wow.
two masters, and one of them is in social work, and so I got licensed at the highest level. So I'm the beautiful soldier, right?
Ah,
That's the beginning of beautiful soldier. Is that
right.
I look back over my life and I realized that I fought hard, and it was a battleground,
Yeah.
my life.
Yeah.
And so I, along the journey, I started to see other women in different stages of their walk, where they're still in the hurt, they're still in the pain, they're still in the brokenness, the woundedness, involved with people who are hurting them and taking advantage of them, and misguiding them, and they're still, um, acting out of that hurt and that woundedness, and it's just so much of a cycle
Yeah.
that's so difficult to get out of. And as a result, they're either ending up in jail. I've gone to jail. They're ending up on drugs. I've never really been on drugs, but I had my bout with alcohol,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because
Mm-hmm.
my father was an alcoholic.
Okay.
Um, they're ending up with CPS, Child Protection Services, either them being involved or actually losing custody of their children.
Yeah.
They're ending up in inpatient mental health. Um, they're ending up in inpatient substance abuse. They're ending up with poor outcomes, right?
Right.
And so the book is to help women who are still in those spaces become a fighting soldier in their lives to
Ah.
turn things around.
Yeah.
That, they don't have to succumb to it. I had to tell one young lady that I was working with, she was in jail. She was passing through with her children and got pulled over and had drugs in the car. And she's in jail and away from home. She doesn't know anybody. And so I went to go visit her,
Right.
and just so distraught. And I had to remind her that this is not your end.
Right.
This is,
Right.
you're passing through this experience on your way to who you're going to become.
Oh.
You're going to be better. You're going to be stronger. You're going to learn from this, and you're not going to make this mistake again. You will certainly make other mistakes, but it won't be this one.
Mm-hmm.
You will fight on. That's what Beautiful Soldier is all about, because women, they lose their beauty in lashes and hair and makeup, but their essence of their beauty is in the becoming. Not to quote Michelle Obama, but it is in the becoming of who you are. It
Mm-hmm.
is in the development process of, um, realizing that because you make a mistake, that doesn't mean you are a mistake, even though that's been said before, but that's the premise of the book. It,
Right.
it, it digs deep. It challenges you to explore yourself and face that person in the mirror, not with, the externals,
Right. Right. Right.
the internal. Who am I? What am I thinking about? What are my choices? Who am I identifying as? What happened in my past? What was I told about myself? What do I believe? Who can I decide to be? It makes you stretch in order to fight through, um those things that would have us be less than who we should
Well,
actually.
and I mean, you hit some very valid points, and I am 100%. I'm grabbing on that coattail like you would not believe. But one of my sayings and one of the things that I really strive on and go by is I believe in my spirit that your destiny was determined before your delivery. And
Absolutely.
and you have to be willing to embrace the process, which of course is never easy. It's going to be a process that you will have to endure the bad, the good, the ugly. I mean, if we face it, look at what Jesus went through when he walked the face of this earth.
Right.
They beat him down, talked about him, they ripped the skin from his body, they hollered the same thing about him as they're doing about us, probably. Crucify him, kill him, we don't
Mhm.
need him. So, you have to be willing to endure the process. But thank God for what the songwriter said. That is not how the story ends. And it's amazing that you're encouraging those individuals that you're speaking out to and sharing in this publication, because a lot of times we simply just need to hear it. Now, is this actual publication, is this your first release, or is this a follow-up to something that you've previously written before?
This is my very first release. It is the very first thing that I've actually published for consuming. Um, and it is because just what you're saying, people need help when they're at their lowest. They need loving,
Yeah.
firm guidance, and they need to learn how to be accountable, and they need to feel like somebody understands. And
Right.
that's what I was writing to is and that's one of the first things I say in the introduction. The author does not have all the answers. Her
Right.
journey is
Right.
not
Right.
complete either. I'm still journeying. It's just that I have made great strides through other women who stood in the gap with me and helped me when I couldn't help myself. And then that's what it's about. It's when you have that feeling of helplessness. And the reason I'm speaking to the Black woman is because we have a unique legacy from slavery. That you cannot acknowledge the woes of the Black person in America without acknowledging the the, the foundation of negativity that was sown into us through slavery being property and not being people, and how that impacts us subconsciously from generation to generation to generation. And it's almost inescapable. Like I said, I have 4 degrees, and I really couldn't figure my life out because it's not all internal. It's not all internal to our culture. Some of it is woven into the greater culture of our country and how it views us, how it has handled us, how it has excluded us in a lot of ways. But we're definitely making a lot of progress. So my book is just to contribute to our ongoing progress.
Amen. 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 And you know what? I want you to share with our viewers and listeners now. I know that there's going to be a lot of support out there, and they want to reach out and show it to you. How is it that they can go about showing their love, care, concern, and support and purchasing a copy of Beautiful Soldier? Now, of course, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know now, you know, T. Marie is one of our featured authors on the GMAP Broadcast Network, GMAP1.com. All you have to do is simply stop by our platform, GMAP1.com, click on the tab that is simply titled Featured Authors, and you will see a copy of Beautiful Soldier, a copy of the publication I'm currently showing you on our screen. Click on that copy. It will take you to the necessary location to find out more intimate information and details about the author as well as the publication. And we do want you, each and every one of you, to show your support, purchase a copy, share this information with all of your followers, family, and friends. I mean, hey, you share everything else on Facebook. Share this as well. Don't laugh at me. You know I'm telling the truth. Yeah, I am telling the truth. So if someone wanted to show their support today, how would they go about it, Team? I mean, what's the process? How can your book be purchased?
Now, for consuming it as a purchase, it is available on Amazon as a Kindle ebook, and it was set to be released July 1st, but there were some publishing issues for the paperback. But the paperback should be released within the next 3 to 7 days. Well, two to yeah, 2 to 7 days.
Okay.
So the paperback will be available as well. Now, and that I would love for prisons and uh, substance abuse facilities and
Yeah.
mental health facilities to pick up for their patients, for their inmates, for women who are repeat offenders,
Yeah. Yeah.
women who have potential, but they really don't have the guidance or anyone. You'd be amazed in the work I do as a social worker every day, how many, and as a therapist, how many women have no support system.
Right.
They just don't have anyone. But the book is something that the individual can just go inside themselves and sort through some things and develop their own ability. So that's why I wanted to go out to prisons and jails and to so for consuming a purchase. Now for those who want to just consume it material wise and just want to take a look at it and just want to do the work, goodreads.com, it's available there. And that's a whole different platform for just reading,
Mm-hmm.
just sharing, just giving good reviews. That's another form of support,
Right.
moral support that can be given to me as an author. If you want to just consume it just by reading it and giving a review, because I need honest feedback as a brand new author, and I am working on my next
Uh-oh.
project.
Well, I'm glad to hear that because I'm glad you said that as well because once you do show your love, care, concern, and support, we encourage all of our viewers and listeners to please go back, take a few minutes out of your time, and please leave a review. That is so, so very important. I'm sure T. Marie will appreciate it. I'm sure Amazon will appreciate it. I'll appreciate it. And those that are on the outside looking in, who's considering showing their support and maybe purchasing a copy or two for themselves, they want to know what you think. They want to know how you feel. So please leave a review. Now, I got to ask you this. Now that you look back over the journey that you have taken, and
Mhm.
from the very beginning to where you are right this minute, of course, that's here on GMAP. And of course, when you look back over the journey, T. Marie, I want to find out, what's next for you? Where do you see yourself going from this point?
Well, what I'm doing now is working on my second book about leadership for women. It's called Leadership, Are We There Yet? And excuse the phrase, but bosses are not bees, meaning that, there's a big mean girl mentality out there with women in leadership who don't carry authority too well. And they think that in order to be a leader, you need to be a bossy, what. And that's just not what it is.
Right,
You need
right.
leadership. And going back to just Jesus, leadership is kind, it's loving, it's taking care of your flock, it's making sure your people are good so that they can ultimately serve their purpose.
Right.
And so that's what the second book is about. So that's number one. Um, and then from there, I'm also going to launch Blue River Supportive Services Program. And that's going to offer services for families and children in need of counseling, of mental health assessments, of transportation.
Mm,
It will also support the professionalism of child protection services workers and supervisors so that they know how to practice and they
yeah.
know how to lead in order to best help the families. So I'll be launching that service. I'm also a licensed clinician, so I also have a practice. So I am a therapist, and I really pride myself on couples counseling, marriage counseling.
Yeah.
But I do individual counseling, I do Christian counseling, I do family therapy as well. So those are my pursuits that I'm going to pour more into
Amen.
instead of being employed,
Yeah.
for some
Yeah.
agency. Yeah.
Well,
Mhm.
of course, and of course, we're going to be definitely inviting you back because we want to be able to break down some of those additional services and things that you provide, and we want to be able to speak in detail about those specific areas that you have taken upon yourself to challenge as a journey for you. And of course, if someone wanted to reach out to you on a more individual basis and maybe speak with you on one-on-one about some of the things that you may have mentioned here this afternoon, what's that process? How is it that people can connect with you? How can you be reached?
I can be reached on email at tmariej.theauthor@gmail.com. Or if you're interested in counseling services in the state of Mississippi and the state of Texas, I am licensed. My email address is TRB as in boy, J counseling at gmail.com. I am also present on Facebook for social media. Same thing, T. Marie J. The author is my Facebook page. TRBJ Counseling Services is a Facebook page. I can be reached on LinkedIn as well. I can be found there just simply under my name, Tina Johnson, which is what the T and the J stand for. But as an author, I'm going to keep my moniker T. Marie J, because that's my sign in for everything else. It's T. Marie J.
Amen.
So that's where that.
Amen. Well, I just can't thank you enough for just simply being here with us this afternoon, and of course accepting the invitation to be a part of our broadcast network family. Of course, we're going to be inviting you back real soon to speak more in detail about some of the services that you provide. But once again, T. Marie J is one of our featured authors on the GMAP Broadcast Network, GMAP1.com. Click on the tab that is simply titled Featured Authors. You'll see a copy of the publication, Beautiful Soldier, right there in that area. We want you to click on that copy, and it will take you to the necessary location to find out more intimate information and details about the author, as well as the publication. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, dudes and dudettes, you will be hearing more from this outstanding, amazing young lady, T. Marie J. Don't forget, show your love, care, concern, and support. Purchase a copy, share the information with all of your followers, your family, your friends, and please, when you do so, make sure you go back and leave a review. It's going to be so important. I'll keep you posted. Pay attention to our broadcast network schedule. And of course, you will see information concerning our next live on-air conversation with, right now, currently speaking with T. Marie J., one of the featured authors on the GMAP Broadcast Network. T. Marie, until next time, I want to make sure that you continue to do what you do, continue to be blessed and be a blessing. Keep me posted on all of the amazing things that you have coming up so we can be sure to share that information with people also. And we will be having you back real soon. I want you to have a fantabulous rest of your afternoon. Thank you so much for being here. Be blessed and be a blessing, okay?
Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Have a really great day, too.
As well as you, and I'll be in touch with you soon. You take care. God bless you, and we look forward to hearing from you soon.
All right. Thank you. Have a good one.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.